This year we have 3 brand new haunted houses for our Fright Fest events. We have the Curse of Ra, which is located behind us. We have the Alien Incubator haunted house just next door to us, and we also have our Art of Torture haunted house. So in addition to the 3 brand new haunted houses, we also have renovations and enhancements to our other haunted houses at the park. Specifically, the Piggy's Bloodshed has some very exciting and terrifying new additions to that to create new experiences that just make the environment much more terrifying.
Piggy's Bloodshed has been open for several years, and we wanted to do some subtle renovations to change it up and make it even scarier than what it's been. So we're making some additions, adding some extra scares to the haunt. We're changing up some of the scenes to make it more open. That way we can get as many screams as possible when they come through Piggy's Bloodshed.
In a matter of 4 weeks, we bring in a large crew of people. We enlist some of the other departments of the park to help us put things up into the park. My job, of course, being to fabricate and put props in their places in the houses, putting new pieces on the props, making sure they all work right, they all fit into the areas properly, and some of it is completely renovating an entire section of house like we're doing at the exit right now.
There were lots of people behind the scenes. The team at Little Spider had 30 or 40 people working on the project, besides their creative team and design team. We had our team here of electricians, mechanics, and HVAC folk, plus the entertainment technical staff doing all the lighting design and soundscapes and so forth. So there's probably about 100 people involved backstage. It's like we tell our kids when they take a bow on stage, you're taking a bow. For a lot of people that don't get a chance to stand in front of the lights and take that bow.
Bringing these haunted houses to life, it starts with a very fun creative process where we dream up the themes and the concepts for the haunted houses, and we're looking for just what is the most terrifying experience we can give our guests. From there, we seek out vendors to bid on that process and come with their creative ideas, and ultimately we selected Little Spider Creations to work with us. They've been a great partner in helping bring our haunted houses to life this year.
When you come into this room, you'll be very, very, very surprised. We've taken out an entire section of wall that used to have picture frames with TVs behind it. And we decided to change the entire scope of this room, because usually people just come through this hallway and go to the next section where they get scared. So we're trying to enhance and give a little bit of scare in each individual little department of the haunted house.
One of the major renovations that we're doing is we're changing up the exit. We're adding a huge prop that's going to go at the exit. And we're also taking down a couple of the walls so that we can open it up just a little bit more. I think the guests are really going to like it. And if they don't, they'll just be screaming the whole time. So
we hire approximately 250 people as scare actors for all our haunted houses and scare zones. We run staffing at about 185 a night. So that process started back in, I would say again, the 1st of July. We put out words and feelers and did some of the various haunt shows and advertising through social media and so forth. To people want to become a part of this, come join us.
We kind of debrief after the event and through the event, and we start brainstorming of what's next, what can we do next year, and that process is a full cycle that goes from year to year. Right now we're already talking about what are we going to do for 2020, what enhancements do we want to make, what adjustments do we want to make within the haunted houses, and we get that. It starts with our guest feedback, and that's how these 3 new haunted houses came to life in that process, and trying to come up with some very memorable themes, immersive experiences that can really drive our guests to have just a terrifyingly fun experience in the haunted houses.
Tonight we're having rehearsal for Jolly Holiday. It's the finale of the park, Holiday in the Park. At 9:45 we come up on the stage and do a 15-minute show full of your favorite holiday songs. We have a cast of 16. There are 8 couples, and originally there were only 10, and then I added 3 more couples. We've had a few bumps in the road here and there, but we've really worked really hard, and I can't be more happy with the cast and how they've worked so hard.
This year I'm so excited because it's my 4th holiday in the park. So I've done it a few times, but every year it's a little bit different. So it feels fun now to be on the kind of veteran side of it more than like the first year. And Christmas is just my favorite season. It's in the dancing and it's like a big production season, so that's really fun.
So it is my first show at the park, and I'm super excited. It's just an amazing community, and it's been an absolute blast learning these shows. It feels like you're a part of like Six Flags history, just because they are repeated every year, which is super cool. And just adding your new take onto the show. Lexi Leach really inspired me to do this. We both go to TCU together, and same with Tasia, who plays the diva in the show. And so it's just kind of been almost like a TCU come together and do the show at Six Flags, which is super fun to do, and I'm so glad that I can finally come out and do it.
So the show itself is already very energetic. It's very high performance, and so I kind of have to draw that out of them a little bit, and really getting them to create the energy within the show and create a positive atmosphere and a very happy atmosphere.
We've had these Victorian costumes for, I believe, like 25 years, and they're beautiful. And I've always been in the yellow costume, and for me, the coolest part is Kelly Clarkson wore that costume. So my first year, it still had her name in the tag. So I love wearing her costume and kind of seeing like how many performers have worn it before us that are so iconic, and now we get to wear them and kind of give our own spin on it.
So we've been rehearsing this show for about 4 days now. So we had only 5 days total to get this show rehearsed and complete. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but it's been a lot of fun.
So I grew up in Fort Worth, and I've come to Six Flags my whole life. We're going to like Looney Tunes land, and now it's like a full circle moment getting to come here and perform. I remember watching the Christmas show when I was little and being like, oh, that's so cool, like the teddy bear comes to life and all that fun stuff, and now it's amazing that I'm in the show and I get to tell that story that I used to watch when I was a kid.
My favorite part of the process is watching how much the cast actually grows as performers. I really want to challenge them and make sure that they're growing and striving for excellence, and that we're growing as performers as well as people, and we're greeting the guests and we're getting to know the guests and really connecting with them that way, and really creating a community within entertainment.
I just did the roller coaster challenge on Shockwave in the front row wearing only a tank top and shorts. Once we finished the ride, we got a long sleeve shirt and we got hot cocoa. It felt good to do this for ACE. I have not done an ACE event. This is my first one, and I always like to help out.
In addition to the roller coaster challenge, we're also using this opportunity to announce our Holiday Friends program.
I'm here today working with Six Flags as one of our partners, and they're collecting these bears for our Christmas store, which are going out to families with children who need Christmas. This was a fun event today to see all these people coming out in 46-degree weather in tank tops to ride the Shockwave. And it's scary enough, but to do it in the cold weather is pretty cool. And then to do it for this purpose is a beautiful thing.
The Holiday Friends program initiated last year. So basically a guest can come into one of our stores and buy a piece of plush, and then we donate a piece of plush to Mission Arlington. This year we're doing the exact same program, just with a brand new bear, and today we donated over 500 units of Holiday Friends to Mission Arlington.
We love the partnership, and the fun that Six Flags represents is the same kind of fun Mission Arlington represents. Because when people can laugh and have fellowship together and joy of our hearts, it's unified, and God blesses this with us all working together.
I knew you had to be 16 to be a ride operator, so that day on my birthday, after I got out of school, I drove and parked right there at HR and applied for a job. I thought that it would be a really fun place to work, that it would be exciting every day, that I would get to work around roller coasters, which was something I had always loved.
That's obviously the biggest place you can go and be a lifeguard, and it looked like a lot of fun.
My family had worked here. My brother worked here first in park services. And I just like, well, I'll go work there. It sounds fun. Who doesn't want to work at Six Flags?
Well, first and foremost, I met my wife here, and that was probably an atypical experience, so I wouldn't suggest that everybody will have the same experience. But a lot of our close friends that we have today are people that we worked with while we were here.
And this is before we had Facebook and before we had social media, so I mean, these were real relationships that have held on for over 20 years.
I think my social life really blossomed here. I think I grew up here. I think I came out of my shell and I became a completely different person. It really helped a shy, quiet teenager open up.
I learned how to work from working at Six Flags. I learned how to be self-driven. I learned how to be my own problem solver and how to have accountability for things that were important to me.
What you do at a job really impacts more than just yourself.
You get officers, you know them on a first name basis, and they're teaching you stuff that they learn in the streets and how you can apply it here with Six Flags.
I think the most important thing I learned was the satisfaction and sense of well-being that comes from doing a difficult job and doing it well. There were always challenges in every shift. You know, there were problems with the rides or people who didn't come to work or challenges among the team, and we learned how to solve those problems together.
I try to treat everybody like they're part of my family, and that's something that I learned at Six Flags.
Like we had t-shirts made, like it was crazy. It was the hottest summer. And you just came in and you're like, today's gonna be another sweaty day, and you just do it. Even after a 12-hour, 13-hour shift, you go to IHOP or something and you go hang out for a little while and you come back, you know, the next day and you do it again.
One of my favorite memories is working on the crew that prepares Snow Hill every year. And all of us would meet early in the morning and work inside the ice house making the snow. And it's actually where I learned to drive a stick shift at Six Flags, because I was one of the drivers that would drive the trucks full of ice from the ice house into the park. And that was a very close-knit group of friends that did that job every year. At the end of the day, we felt like we had really accomplished something.
I have seen quite a few employees that have worked at Six Flags that have moved up and done great things with their life. So, I mean, I don't want people to think that, oh, this is just a job where, you know, it's a start-off job. No, this is a job where you can build something. You're building your foundation for your future. When I got that experience, I was like, man, this is actually interesting, and it's a puzzle every day. And it was like, yeah, this is what we do on the streets out here in police work. And it prompted me to apply to be a police officer.
It was while I worked at Six Flags that I decided I wanted to try to go to medical school, and I was inspired by the mentors that I had here. They inspired me to look within and to figure out what I could do most to contribute to the world.
There are people in Six Flags that open up doors for the access to life.
I mean, once they figure out that you're a good worker, they'll find a good place for you.
Anything you want, you can do. There's all kinds of options. I think that's a real benefit to anybody looking for a job that hasn't found what they want to do yet. You can find it here.
And even while I was at school and I came home on weekends, they gave me the opportunity to work and learn. You do good work, it opens up doors. Don't worry, your hard work doesn't go unnoticed.
I was a ride operator.
I worked loss prevention.
I was a lifeguard.
I was a lifeguard.
I was a ride operator.
And now I'm a first grade teacher.
Now I work crimes for the state of Texas.
And now I am a police watch commander for the police department.
And now I am a high school teacher and swim coach.
And now I'm an oncologist. All true, y'all are gonna make me cry, you know, honestly.
If you cry, that's perfect.